The following podcast is for mature listeners. Although looked at in a light-hearted manner, some content may be graphic and gruesome. Also, due to the host's complete lack of maturity, those easily offended will probably be offended. Hold on to your butts.
Have you ever done anything? Have you ever used the internet for anything naughty?
Yeah.
Hold on. Well, welcome to the podcast. I'm Paul Breeden, and this is the living legend, Jake. Lots of letters, Jake.
Thank you very much.
Have you ever done naughty stuff on the internet?
No, like how naughty we talking here? Because I'm always down to clown.
Well, for instance, I think maybe the naughtiest thing I've ever done with the internet is and we talked about this, and it still feels a little weird for me to say it, but I Googled Zac Efron's nipples.
Yes. Honestly, weirdest thing I ever looked up on the internet several years ago, and I looked this up on my phone. I thought my phone was going to explode. I looked up a video of a man getting his, what we'll say is his genitals. He was receiving fellatio from a catfish. Unfortunately,
I have also seen this. Thanks to my wonderful.
Everybody loves a good, catfish blowjob.
Thanks to my wonderful coworkers. So, Jake, it's funny. I don't think I really gave the internet credit for just how naughty it gets. There's Zac Efron nipples all over the place. There's catfish. There's probably some other stuff.
Just out there just sucking on everything.
But today, well, let me say this. I think I'm in more of a somber mood because we're a couple episodes in here, and I think we may have peaked. I don't know.
What?
I don't know that it's going to get any more batshit crazy than this. I can't imagine finding anything. Maybe we'll be able to find things that are on the level, but
okay. Are we talking some dark web shit here? Like we talking like what are we talking here? Like selling your kidney on the black market?
Research in this episode really freaked my bean. Is all I'm gonna say.
Freaked your bean?
Listen,
is that what we're going with?
December 1st, 1961, Jake.
Okay.
A man by the name of Armin Meiwes is born in Essen, West Germany. Familiar with the beautiful countryside of Essen, West Germany?
I don't really know a whole lot. No.
His mother was a woman by the name of Voltrude Meiwes.
Voltron, yes. Yeah,
Voltrude?
like all the robot pieces connect, and she's a giant robot
Voltron Meiwes. He was her third child, but his father's first child. So his mom had been around a little bit.
Real hoe for show.
He had two older brothers from his mother's previous marriages. And at the age of 3, his parents bought a huge 36-room manor in Westerwald, just outside of Rothenburg, Germany. It's getting real. It's going to be real German this episode.
I'll say leave it to fucking Germany with all these awful names.
Yeah, well, and Germany, I mean, shit gets weird in Germany. Isn't that where Hostel took place? Wasn't that Germany?
Something like that.
All right.
Everything's like my Heitenberg hurts and shit like that. I don't even know. I don't get that. Oh, that sounds like freedom right there. I just opened up another pounder.
I like it. What's the beverage of choice today?
Oh, well, this is the finest of Pabst Blue Ribbon.
All right, there you go.
Considering tomorrow we are celebrating America's freedom, I figured I might as well just go ahead and get started a little early today.
I want a little more tropical. I have a coconut berry Red Bull, summer edition, limited time.
Oh.
All right, back to Armin Meiwes. So Armin Meiwes, at a very early age, he was really close with his brothers, Jake. They were tight. They were fucking tight, but they were older than him. So they taught him a lot. According to Armin, they taught him a lot, and they were always loving towards him. Unfortunately, his shit got smashed apart at an early age. The whole family shattered like the Infinity Stones. going to every
spoiler alert. Come on, man.
Every reaches of the. Well, I don't think that was. I don't know. I don't think that was in the
you're
movie.
fine. You're fine.
So at the age of 8, his brothers left him. One brother, Engelbert. I'm not fucking with you. Engelbert moved away from the family. I guess he...
Dingleberry.
Dinglebert.
Yeah.
I guess he got a new family and moved away. Then, shortly after that, Wolfgang, his other brother, moved to Berlin and became a priest.
Yeah.
Became a composer. This is 1961.
I have no concept of time.
I don't... Honestly, if you told me that's when...
Yeah, if you're like, oh yeah, this is Wolfgang, Puck, the fucking... Wait, no, that's a cook. Who gives a fuck?
The great composer, Wolfgang Puck.
Yeah, Wolfgang Puck.
So then tired of Voltrude Meiwes' intense, overbearing personality,
Voltron and her bitchy ass attitude.
Armin's father called it quits, and he bailed too. He left Armin and his mother for good. They never saw him again.
These German people are real quick to just roll out. Sure they're not from Wilmington?
This guy's whole family just fell apart within a matter of 2 years, and things got really, really lonely for Armin.
What is he, like 4?
He is 8 at this point. So he was described by other people as being a mama's boy. He was always trying to gain her approval and get in her good favor. But it didn't really work out because she was kind of scarred by having 3 husbands all leave her, and she developed a pretty bitter attitude towards men.
She's a bitch.
And took it all out on Armin. She forced him to do everything around the house. She forced him to cook. She forced him to clean. He had to go shopping. He had to do the yard work. He had to do the housework. She would often scold him in public. She made up a fantasy that she was a fair lady of the manor and dressed herself in Armin in Victorian clothing, and then would meticulously decorate each room in the giant house to fit that time period. She was like, she was out there. She was super strict and a little bit crazy.
So, this could be considered like your first case of modern cross-dressing, essentially.
But it was forced. He didn't have.
Yeah, this shit's getting real sexy.
He didn't have say in it. Actually, are you reading my mind here? I didn't say he was cross-dressing yet.
I thought you just said he dressed him up in some sort of like Victorian clothes.
Well, there were male Victorian clothing. Victorian is like an era of time which you have no concept of.
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows what the fuck Victorian means.
Well, hold on, because the next sentence that I was about to read to you is childhood friends reported that his mother would often call him München, which is a German girl's name. And on one occasion, he showed up to a school friend's...
Aren't there those things you buy from Dunkin' Donuts, little Munchkins? Munchkins. They're like tiny little donut holes. Little Munchkins.
But like a 24-pack of Munchkins, please.
Yeah.
Munchkin is a... München, not Munchkin.
München.
Oh, okay. München is a German girl's name. And on one occasion, he showed up to a school friend's birthday party in a dress and full makeup.
Fuck yeah.
He was so like undercover at this party that most of his friends said they didn't realize it was him until like way into the party. Nobody realized it was him. And I guess if you're him, you're just kind of like trying to avoid everyone you know.
Yeah.
So his life was rough. Shit was fucked up.
Yeah, his mom's making him tuck his sack back and put on fucking fancy dresses and look like a girl.
Yeah. And on top of all that, like I said, he was super lonely, and he always fantasized about having a little brother. But he knew it wasn't in the cards because his mother was already over 40 at this time and seemed to have no interest in ever remarrying again. So...
Okay.
He wants a brother. He says in interviews that he wanted somebody that he could kind of teach and share things with, like his older brothers had done to him. He kind of fantasized about this. So, Jake, he solved this problem on his own. You know what he did?
I gotta know.
He came up with an imaginary friend named Frankie.
Oh, okay.
My boy Frankie.
Non-German name. Non-German name. The only motherfucker in the story with a non-German... With Frankenfurter? Is his name Frankenfurter?
Maybe he's named after Frankfurt. Frankfurt, Germany.
Okay.
Anyway, Frankie... Our boy Frankie became the outlet that Armin needed to get him through childhood. He was able to vent to Frankie, and Frankie would actually listen to him. This is something that nobody else had done since his brothers were around. His mom definitely wasn't doing it.
Okay.
So Frankie was kind of like his everything in his, childhood and I guess early adolescence.
Yes.
Then, at the age of 10, something happened in Armin's life. Armin became fascinated with 2 books, Jake. Number one, the first book was Hansel and Gretel. He loved Hansel and Gretel.
This is going to get dicey.
He loved Hansel and Gretel. And the funny thing about his love for Hansel and Gretel, Jake, is he tended to sympathize with the witch. He was really into the whole like fattening up Gretel. That really like fascinated him. And then the other book that he loved was Robinson Crusoe. Particularly one scene in Robinson Crusoe. So there's a scene in Robinson Crusoe, Jake, where the main character meets this guy that he calls Man Friday, right?
Man Friday?
Friday is the name of this guy. Come on, get up on your literature.
Is this like a happy hour at a gay strip club, Man Friday?
It's
Yes, bitch. Welcome to Man Friday.
It's basically Man Friday is like a native that Crusoe finds on the island, and he calls him his friend, but really it becomes his slave. He's like his servant. So
okay.
Anyway, Man Friday gets tangled up with some cannibals. The cannibals are about to eat him. Crusoe swoops in, saves the day, saves Man Friday from the cannibals, and they end up becoming best friends and indentured servant / master.
Yes. Who doesn't love a good old tale as old as time itself with some slavery and friendship?
Yes. So this part of Robinson Crusoe, it hit home with Armin. It was the cannibals hit home with Armin. He really was into the cannibal thing.
Quick side note.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I keep interrupting you.
No.
I want to know how come this dumb bitch of a mother names her son Armin and he doesn't have a brother or sister named Hammer. Armin Hammer. Come the fuck on.
Because she couldn't pass on Engelbert and Wolfgang.
Yeah, but I mean, literally, it's just the puns alone.
I know, it would have been great. She was hoping for a twin. I think that's why she had so much animosity towards him, is because she had this stupid, punny, double team name lined up from the gate.
Absolutely.
And he popped out. It was just the one.
Could you imagine him in college? Just like
Armin
what happened
Hammer.
to you guys last night. Got tag teamed by Armin Hammer. Oh my God, bitch.
Yeah, it would have been good.
Yeah. Anyhow, I'll let you continue.
Yeah, no, I mean, everything's pretty normal from here on out. Around this time, Armin begins to come into his sexuality, and he starts to fall in love with Frankie, his imaginary friend, Frankie. And he would fantasize sexually about Frankie, his imaginary friend, Frankie. And tragically,
I think that's how it goes. I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to work.
Well, I mean, he must have had a really good imagination.
Yeah.
To have this dude. See, did you have an imaginary friend when you were younger?
I feel like a lot of kids had someone that like they hung out with, but like I just had like Ninja Turtles and
mine was Gumby, dude. For some reason, my shit was Gumby. Gumby was my imaginary
wrestling
friend.
Figures and stuff like that, but like. And
maybe
I get the whole imaginary friend thing.
Maybe we're just not on the intellectual level as Armin.
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not trying to have some sort of weird fellatio relationship with someone who's not even there.
I'm just saying,
that's
Jake,
just me.
I'm just saying you didn't have the mental fortitude to create a human being with your mind. Not only that, to create a sexy ass human being that you could eventually start fantasizing about.
I'm not trying to get a ghost job in here. Like, I'm trying to actually meet real people. Like,
I don't think that imaginary friends are ghosts, Jake.
Then what are they?
I bet that
beings?
actually, I think that some imaginary friends are probably ghosts. I think that's happened. I think it's
exactly. Or is it just this
I was
is
playing
my friend
I was playing in the
Frankie.
basement with Susie. Who the fuck's Susie?
Exactly.
Oh, she died here 25 years ago. You know?
Yeah, that's fucking dark. But it's like, who's Frankie? Like a sock on his hand? Like, oh yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people had that friend before. But like,
if Frankie was a sock on his hand, it would not have been good for his digestion, Jake, because tragically, in Armin's young mind, he started to worry about being abandoned again. He was afraid that Frankie was going to leave him. And he didn't want to lose Frankie like he lost his brother and his father's, or his brothers and his father.
Psyche had been damaged by them.
Yeah, so,
yeah.
I mean, he's been abandoned quite often by people he loved. So Armin decided the only way to keep Frankie from leaving him was to fucking eat him. He figured if he ate Frankie, Frankie would become a part of him and could never leave. He'd always be with him.
I mean, that's solid. That's solid
strategy.
Logic,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm glad you're with me because when
this would explain his morbid obsession with Hansel and Gretel then.
Yes. And the cannibals in Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, so let's fast forward a little bit. Let's fast forward to January of 1981. At the age of 19, Armin Meiwes joins the West German Army. And he kind of found like solace and acceptance in the army. Okay. His like weird, bizarre desires kind of faded a bit. He was around other people socializing. He was accepted. He made friends in the army. And it kind of kept his mind off of things. So Armin decided what he wanted to do was he wanted to become a career military guy, I guess is what do you call it when you're...
I don't understand, like kind of like a lifelong, like...
Yeah, he wanted to be in the military till he could retire, and then...
Yeah, absolutely, and I get that. But don't they do some sort of psych eval where it's like, hey, how do you feel about social interaction? Like, well, if I always want to hang out with my friends, I just fucking eat them. Like,
how do you feel? I'm not. My German accent isn't going to be great. How do you feel about eating imaginary people?
Yeah, like
I don't think that's on the West German quiz. I don't think that a lot.
No,
of
they're too busy just trying to burn races of people. No big deal. No big deal.
That was before. This is in the 70s. No, this is in the 80s.
Still, I mean, there was like a big shadow cast over there for about 35, 45 years.
Things were rough. Things are still a little rough over there.
Yeah. But apparently they're on the up and up with eating imaginary friends. No big deal.
Yes, right. Exactly. So, also, while he was in the army, Armin developed a few relationships with women, and none of them seemed to last. So he...
Shocker.
He moved away from imaginary friends and did have some relationships with women, but it didn't work out. Eventually, Armin... he had like a long-term relationship with a girl, and it didn't work out. He developed a drinking habit. He liked to drink a lot. And on one Christmas night, after a few drinks, Armin decided it was time to go for a drive. He crashed his car and lost his license for a short period. He got the license back, not too big of a setback. As soon as he gets the license back, goes out, parties, takes another drive, crashes again. Loses his license again.
This is where this guy could have really benefited from using Uber.
I know, man. If it was just, or even a taxi. They had
taxis. Give me like a rickshaw. Give me something.
There was a TV show called Taxi on TV.
Literally, at that time period.
So this time they take his license away for good, and this inevitably leads to the end of Armin Meiwes' 12-year military career. After the military, Armin heads back home. So in 1993, he returns to the 36-room manor that his mom's living in all alone and helps take care of her. He pretty much completely devotes himself to just taking care of her. He got a job as a computer tech who does keep up on computers at a large bank. And then in the evenings, he spent most of his time with his mother.
Okay.
Pretty normal, man.
Has a nice psycho vibe to it.
Well, I mean, he's had a pretty chill life since
totally chill.
His imaginary
no big
friend.
Deal. No, just abandonment issues.
Yeah, so he
no big deal. Totally normal.
Right. Yeah. And now he works at a bank or works at a computer place. He spends time with his mom in the evening, and he discovers a newly accessible network known as the internet.
Oh, fuck yeah. Who doesn't love dial-up?
At first, Jake, things start off innocent enough with the internet, okay? With Meiwes and the World Wide Web. He dips his toes into just editing photos. He edits photos and he shares them on the web. What he liked to do, completely normal, he liked to take chunks of animal meat and cut them into different shapes. And then he would use marzipan. Do you know what marzipan is?
Yes,
It's like an almond mold,
Yes.
I think, right?
Yes, it's almost like a fondant.
Yeah. Use it for cakes a lot.
If you will.
Huge on the Great British Bake Off. I mean, there's marzipan on every fucking thing they make.
Oh, so apparently you are a gay man.
Listen, Jake.
Not that
You
there's
don't
anything
wanna-
wrong with that.
Paul Hollywood is the manliest man.
Whoa, Paul Hollywood, is this
You're
an
ever
alter
gonna-
ego?
No. That's the guy from the Great British Bake Off. You've never seen the Great... All right, I can't with you sometimes.
I am a 32-year-old heterosexual man.
Back to the marzipan.
Talk to the Mar. Yeah, let's get some more marzipan.
Back to the
up in
marzipan. Armin would take little chunks of animal meat, cut them into different shapes, and then he would use
Typical
marzipan.
Saturday afternoon activity.
Then he would use marzipan to mold what looked like human body parts, then doctor photos to look like he was butchering human flesh.
No big deal. I know I did that like 3 weeks ago with a couple friends.
And then you take them and you upload them to the internet and you share them on all the cannibal fetish websites, right?
I just throw it right to my Instagram. That's all I do.
I'll tell you what, Instagram's the biggest cannibal fetish website these days. That
Absolutely.
hashtag cannibal is off the chain. It's like 3 million every time. I think. I don't know.
Fucking gross.
I haven't checked in a while, but
It's been a minute.
yeah. Over the years that followed, Armin's mother would have a lot of health problems. She would eventually get in a car accident that she never fully recovered from.
None of these people in this family know how to fucking drive, apparently.
No, it's not.
It's probably because they're fucking dumb. They're probably driving on the wrong side of the road, probably, because they're like...
Definitely. That's what they
Yeah.
do there. That's the law
Yeah.
over there. They have to drive on the wrong side
The
of the
wrong
road.
arm of the
That seems like a
West
weird
German
law, dude. It seems like a weird law to make people drive on the wrong side of the road. You'd think you'd want them driving on the right side of the road.
Exactly. Because this is America, and that's what we do in America.
In 1999, Armin returned home from work and found his mother dead of an apparent heart attack. Of course, Armin was devastated, but Jake, he was also free.
He was.
The weight of his mother was finally off his shoulders.
She's a fat bitch.
She was a fat bitch. They showed her in the documentary. She was a fat bitch. He had this huge house in the German countryside, and Jake, he had a motherfucking internet connection.
Dude, that 56K dial-up was lightning fast back in 1999.
Lightning fast. AOL keyword cannibal.
Yeah,
Armin was free to live out.
Sliding into all the chat rooms, hitting it with the ASLP question mark.
Armin was free to live out all of his wild fantasies. So, would you like to know what Armin did next, Jake?
I'm going to guess weird animal meat photos and some sort of masturbatory celebration afterwards.
No. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe that's just me. I mean, it's just what I do on my weekends.
No. In November 2001, Jake, Armin made a post to a website message board called the Cannibal Cafe. And the
that sounds
post
very quaint.
roughly translated to, in search of a young boy between 18 and 30 years old, looking for a normal body. I will butcher you and eat your horny flesh. Signed, Frankie.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's the creepy twist.
I like the fact that he said horny flesh.
He wants to butcher and eat their horny flesh. Now, Jake, if you were to make a post like this on a message board, what do you think the response would be?
I mean, so normally if you were to post something like this, it would probably be on like a Craigslist, like missed connections type thing. You'd probably
Right.
you'd probably get a couple replies like, "Oh, hey, what's up? How you doing there, guy?" But like if you're just posting this to the quaint and subtle Cannibal Cafe,
Yeah.
I feel like you're not going to get the best of replies.
You think there's
But-
a subreddit? You think there's a Cannibal Cafe subreddit now? You
Oh,
think
there
it's
has
evolved?
to be. There has to be, without a doubt.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. A few responses came in, but Armin was overall disappointed because he could tell none of these were really serious inquiries. None of these motherfuckers actually wanted to have their horny flesh eaten.
I mean, I don't really blame him. I mean, I like to keep my horny flesh to myself.
Yeah, like most of these people, he got quite a few responses, but they all backed out once Armin tried to set up a meeting.
Yeah.
Then, Jake, like a gift from God, Into the picture comes 24-year-old bisexual computer technician Bernd Jurgen Brandes.
That's what I'm talking about.
For as much as Armin Meiwes wanted to eat somebody, Jake, Bernd Brandes wanted to be eaten. This was a match made in heaven.
Fuck yeah, this is the yin to his creepy cannibal yang.
Yeah, let's, okay, I couldn't find a lot on Bernd Brandes, right? I couldn't find a lot of history or
Burn
backstory.
notice. What's his name?
Bernd Brandes.
Not a horrible
Bernd-
USA
Bernd
Network
Jurgen-
TV show?
Yeah. Yeah. We have, what is it? What's that thing? We have personality. We have suits.
Yes.
I don't think that's it.
Sounded good.
Yeah, we have character. They have some stupid fuck. It's not that funny. I'm gonna give up on it. So most of the shit that I was able to find out about Bernd Brandes came from. I'm not even gonna tell you. We're just gonna keep going. So Bernd Brandes, like Meiwes, had a pretty rough childhood, maybe rougher. His mom committed suicide when he was 5 years old.
Yeah, it's a little tough.
Then his father kind of shut down and refused to talk about the situation at all. Eventually, the relationship between Brandes and his father completely broke down to the point where they wouldn't even talk to each other after Brandes came out as being gay to him. But there's a bright side. Brandes went on to make quite a nice little life for himself. He had a successful career in computer software engineering. And in 1996, he met a taxi driver. See, there were taxis.
Okay.
Well, of course there were taxis in 96,
Why do
right?
all the weird people work in fucking computer engineers?
I don't know.
Like computer
That's
software,
a very good question.
Like, yeah, like tech support and shit. Like, what the fuck is this?
We had, the place I used to work, we had a computer technician. And I swear to God, I swear to Christ, he was a serial killer. I mean, you just look at you know how some people you look at and you just know that they've killed somebody?
Oh, absolutely.
This guy was one
like,
of those people.
I like to go home and shove bottles up my ass.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I guess maybe staring at the screen all day just kind of does something to the
Just
psyche.
fries your brain.
So let's see. Where was I? So he meets this 30-year-old taxi driver named Alexandra, and they begin dating and even plan on having kids.
Okay.
Things soured 6 months into the relationship, though, when Brandes told her that he was gay. That kind of put the kibosh on the whole thing.
Yeah, I feel like that would kind of put the flames out on any relationship.
Yeah, so she bailed. And then the only other person who had like a real good character reference for Bernd Brandes was a man by the name of Victor Serrano. Victor Serrano met Bernd Brandes when Bernd replied to an advertisement he had put in a magazine. The advertisement, Jake, was Victor offering his services as a Caribbean boy. Now, listen, I checked online, did my research. I'm not exactly sure what the fuck a Caribbean boy is, but if you let your imagination take over, I think you'll get it, right?
Oh, yeah, shit gets real sexy with a Caribbean boy. I feel like he's wearing a grass skirt, no shirt.
Gotta be a grass skirt. He's gotta have one of those big banana leaf fans for afterwards.
One of those fucking, like, puka shell necklaces like all the gay boys wear.
He definitely has a puka shell necklace.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apparently, Serrano was such a good Caribbean boy that he won Brandes over, and the two of them began a 3-year relationship. Now, this relationship started with the two of them meeting twice a week and having sex. But then...
Oh, butt stuff. Who doesn't love that?
As shit got more serious, Bernd needed a little more to be satisfied. Serrano is quoted as saying that Bernd would ask him to bite his penis.
Oh, yeah!
He said that every time he would touch it with his teeth, it would make Brandes climax. Soon, this was no longer enough, and Bernd Brandes began begging Victor to bite it off. Eventually,
who wants their dick bit off?
Bernd Jurgen Brandes. Eventually, Bernd Brandes would offer Serrano $10,000 to bite his penis off. Serrano refused and, inevitably was scared off by the whole penis biting off thing, and it kind of
I would think
brought
so.
an end to the relationship.
Yeah.
So as far as backstory on Bernd Brandes, that's pretty much. I've scoured the internet, and that's pretty much all I was able to find. So we're gonna jump back to 2001.
Okay.
Frankie makes the post on the Cannibal Cafe forums, right?
Trying to eat some horny flesh. He's in that rude mood. He's trying to find some young piece of man meat to slide on through. I feel
Exactly. You remember. You know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. I've got half a chub thinking about it. That's
So,
really
Jake-
embarrassing.
Jake, you know my boy Brandis couldn't reply fast enough.
Absolutely. His fingers were burning.
So the two of these meet. In March 2001, Burn Brandis takes a train to Rottenburg, and Armin Meiwes says...
Rottenburg. Perfect place for them to meet.
I think it's Rotenburg, but
Who cares?
It's close.
It might as well be Rottenburg for these two
At this point, it's Rottenburg because they
dirt devil motherfuckers.
Armin Meiwes says that when he first saw Burn step off the train and realized this shit was really going to happen, he felt both nervous and excited that it was actually real this time.
Yeah.
That Burn actually showed up. Meiwes said that the two didn't talk at the train station. There was a lot of commotion going on, a lot of people. But as soon as they got in the car and pulled out of the train station, Burn couldn't keep his hands to himself. He started getting frisky.
Shit, hot and heavy.
Hot and heavy. When they got back to Armin's house, Armin began videotaping. The two had agreed.
Shit.
The two had agreed that the entire session would be recorded per Burn's request. Right? Burn wanted this whole thing to be recorded.
Okay.
Before Armin knew it, Burn Brandis had gone straight into the living room, took all his clothes off, and told Armin that he wanted to give him a chance to admire his dinner.
His what?
His dinner. His dinner.
Oh, shit. My man's going to have an all-you-can-eat buffet up in here.
Shortly after the two got to the home, they headed upstairs to a room that is, it's now known as the slaughter room.
Because my man slayed that ass.
Once in the room, maybe that's where the name came from. You might be right.
My man straight up went to town. He's like, yo, you about to meet the butcher, daddy.
All right, listen. Okay, hold on. I do have to say this. We put a content warning at the beginning of the podcast.
Just a tad. We get a little...
But let me say,
control.
if you have a weak stomach, I don't know, man, maybe skip ahead a little bit.
Yo, are we talking about, like, right now? Like, is the shit about to get real dicey?
So once the two get to the slaughter room, they lay down in bed. They undress, and according to one detective, I swear to God, he says, then they played love games.
Is this like a Lady Gaga song?
No, I mean, they boned down, is what happened. Mavis said they boned down. I'd like the phrase, played love games. According to Mavis, Burned did not enjoy the love games one bit, because midway through, he started to doubt the whole situation. When I say doubt the whole situation, you may think I'm talking about he didn't want to be eaten anymore. That shit is not what I'm talking about. By doubt the situation, he started yelling things to Mavis like, you won't be able to do it. You're too feeble. You won't be able to give me the kind of pain that I need.
Holy shit.
Burn Brandis, according to...
this 24-year-old succulent piece of man meat.
42. You
42?
He's 42.
Oh, shit.
Dude, you can't be a successful computer program engineer at 24.
I don't know.
Straight
Bill
out of
Gates
college?
did it.
I don't think so. You got an internship.
Zuckerberg, that bitch? I mean, they don't really do that back then, though.
Times have changed. There was no Facebook. So according to this dude, I wrote his name down later. We'll get to it. He wrote a book about this whole thing. And he said that Burn Brandis wanted to experience what to him was the ultimate high. He was in search of pain so intense that it would kill him. He told Mavis...
My man is trying to get taken straight to Pound Town.
Like, yeah, I mean, no. Pound Town is... it doesn't do it anymore. Pound Town's in the past. Pound Town...
was
been
like
there,
three exits ago. My man's trying to
We rode the roller coaster. The shit,
Yeah.
it just didn't do the trick. He had told Mavis previously that he wanted to feel the ultimate bliss, and to him that was being eaten alive. So, around 6:15 in the evening, Brandis stood up. This is all on tape. I didn't watch it. You could probably find it. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. This whole shit is on tape. Brandis stands up and he says, I can't stand it anymore. Cut it off.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And Meiwes jumps to the invitation, Jake. But it didn't work. The knife was dull. So Meiwes had to go downstairs and grab a sharper knife and then right off, just like that. Like a hot knife through...
Butter. A penis. Hot knife through a penis.
Like a hot knife through a dick. After this, according to Meiwes and the investigators...
Put it on a potato roll and put mustard on it and ate it.
Come on, Jake. What do you think this is? Amateur hour?
All right,
After this, according to investigators and to Meiwes, they both agreed on this. They told the same story. Brandes lets out a terrible scream.
Of course. He fucking just got his dick cut off.
He says, and I quote, "Ow, ow, ow, ow. All I can see is total blackness. I have to sit down." This lasted for maybe 20 seconds.
That's smart. Ow, Charlie.
Armin, you really did it. This lasts for about 20 seconds. Then he sits back in his chair, disappointed. He said that the pain was completely gone and not what he expected at all. His dick is on the table, and he's disappointed because it didn't hurt bad enough. At one point in the video, he can be heard saying that he was happy at how much he was bleeding, but very disappointed in the pain. And that at the moment he was completely pain-free. He then instructs Meiwes to cut it up and fry it.
Oh, so my man's going to make a saute out of this.
Jake,
He's going to do a little dick stir fry. He's going to throw some bell peppers and some mushrooms in there and eat this dick.
Jake, let me welcome you to Flesh in the Pan with celebrity chef Armin Meiwes. Today, we will be making sauteed dick. Here's what you'll need. 1 freshly chopped dick, split lengthwise.
One medium-sized penis, 5 to 7 inches.
1
garlic
teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon. Have you done this before? 1 teaspoon of pepper and a pinch of garlic powder. All right?
Ooh, pinch.
Let's put it all together. Step 1, wash your dick. Make sure you wash your dick. You don't know where that thing's been. Step 2, blanch the dick. Hold on. Let me make a side note.
We're going to blanch it. We're not going to dredge this in any type of cornstarch or flour or anything.
Well, I probably would have. I do want to stop and say seriously, I didn't make this shit up. This is exactly how Meiwes describes his cooking technique for Burn Brandis' dick.
Here's my question.
Hold on, let me get through how. Well, let me get through the cooking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just so inquisitive right now.
You have to wash the dick. You wash the dick, then you blanch the dick. This requires you to put it in a pot of boiling water. Quickly dip the 2 dick halves in the water for a few seconds, then plunge them into an ice bath to immediately stop the cooking process. Okay?
I do love a good dick half.
Now,
if I'm going to cook a dick, I need to make sure it's evenly distributed when I cook it.
Now you get the frying pan, Jake. You add the tiniest bit of EVOO and get it up to temperature.
That's extra virgin olive oil for you dullards out there.
That's it, motherfuckers. Rachel Bray. Then you season the 2 dick halves with salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder and fry them up. Jake, make sure, though, you do not overcook the dick or you will ruin it. Just like Armin Meiwes did.
If I'm gonna have dick for dinner, the last thing I want is I don't want a bland dick. I need that thing to be rich and flavorful.
Yeah,
and
you do.
I need to make sure my palate is cleansed before and after because I don't even want to think about what dessert's gonna be. Is it gonna be a bleached asshole? Like is it gonna be some sort of some sort of nipple etouffee? Like I don't know what's going on.
I want to let you get back to your point. What were you gonna say earlier? Do you remember, or did I?
I think you might have just. All right, so yeah, here's my question.
Okay.
So my man is up here fricasseeing this dude's fucking wiener.
Yes.
What is Burn Brandis doing in the meantime? Is my man like, oh, hey, let me just sit on this towel as I'm bleeding uncontrollably out of the fleshy patch that my penis used to be, where there's just like a little nub and a ball bag now? Like, dude, or is he writhing around in pain because you just got your fucking dick cut off?
I shit you not, dude. I shit you not. Meiwes said that the whole time he was doing this, he tried to do it rather quickly because he was afraid that Brandis was going to black out by the time he got back upstairs to feed him the dick. When he got back...
Wait. So this guy is going to cook and then serve this dude his own dick?
Well, they're going to share it. That's why he split it in 2.
Oh,
Jake.
what a lovely dinner for 2.
Why? I mean, what? He's not going to eat it all himself and make him watch.
I mean, especially if my man's well equipped. If my man's coming in there with a fucking meat hammer, one man can't eat it. You got to split it. What a lovely dinner for two.
Yeah, very thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
Very thoughtful.
I forget. I was going to say something. I forget what.
Awful.
No. So what? Okay. So Meiwes said that he tried to do this quickly because he was afraid that Brandis was going to black out, right? Like I said, which makes sense because he's bleeding from his dick. I shit you not, when he went back upstairs, Meiwes said that Brandis was admiring how much blood was coming out of his wound. Like he was just tickled by it, right?
Would he use the blood as like a garnish and drizzle it on the finished product as he plated the
Jake,
meal?
he should have made a blood sauce.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but he didn't do
some
that.
sort of crema.
And also, there was no writhing in pain because Brandis said there was no pain. He was in no pain at all. He was sitting there like
right there.
he was sitting there like he had a perfectly good dick still. I think that you missed what I said at the end because it didn't get the reaction I thought it was going to get. I said make sure you don't overcook the dick because you'll ruin it, like Meiwes did.
Wait,
he burnt
the dick?
He burnt. He burnt.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what, ain't nothing worse than having an over-grilled hot dog.
He burnt the dick. It was completely inedible. He went back upstairs to serve Brandis his crispy dick, but neither men were able to eat it.
This is very much like a bacon situation. Do you prefer it to be a little chewy, or do you want it to be a little extra crispy?
According to the investigators, the people that had seen the tapes, Brandis was a little bit disappointed. Meiwes
he's got crispy dick
Meiwes had
and not
ruined his
chewy
only
dick.
dick.
Yeah, you get one shot at this and you fucked up.
It's real. I mean, that I can't believe. I'd be so.
I'm gonna tell you who Bobby Flay wouldn't have fucked that up.
Well, I'll tell you what. Meiwes says that the problem was the meat was too fresh, and that's why it burned so quickly. I think Meiwes didn't watch enough fucking Emerald Lagasse. That's what I think.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you need a little more Cooking Network on the TV.
You need to watch a little bit more Hell's Kitchen. Understand you're supposed to flash fry and not pan fry. You need to be in and out, and that shit would have been robust flavor.
Get out of the Cannibal Cafe and get your ass to a real cafe where they know how to cook.
Take your ass to cooking school, you illiterate bitch.
After their snack, Brandis told Meiwes that he was starting to get a little bit cold and would like to take a bath.
Yeah, because he's bleeding the fuck out of his dick hole.
Meiwes ran a nice warm bath, helped Brandis in, and then checked on him every 15 minutes. While Byrne bled out in the bathroom, Armin Meiwes laid on his bed and read a Star Trek novel. The 15-minute checks got weirder and weirder. Meiwes couldn't believe how happy Brandis was. Brandis couldn't get over the fact that he was bathing in his own blood. At one point, the two had a laugh over the fact that blood was spurting out of Brandis's penis like a water fountain.
Oh, man. No. Not at all. Like, oh, man, yeah, look how funny this is. It's like a tiny little penis nub fountain.
Meiwes! Meiwes, come here, look at this! You gotta see this!
Yo, I'm gonna put this shit on my MySpace. Look at this little dick fountain. This shit's adorable.
All right. After a while, Brandis...
My man was definitely on his top 8 friends, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, this is a bonding experience if I ever saw one. After a while, Brandis decides he wants to get out of the bath. He stands up and tries to get out, but passes out unconscious. Meiwes then carries Brandis back upstairs to the slaughter room, lays him on the bed, and over the next few hours, Brandis kind of drifts in and out of consciousness. He wasn't doing great. According to Gunter Stampf, that's the dude I was talking about. He's the author of a book called Interview with a Cannibal. He says that just before Brandis died, he laid in the bed staring at the ceiling and realized this was not what he expected it to be and was no longer happy. What
do you fucking expect? You showed up to some dude's fucking giant estate, got your dick cut off, you ate it, and then you got thrown in a bathtub.
Tried to eat it. He didn't eat it. It wasn't. They couldn't eat it.
It's not fucking Chuck E. Cheese. You're not going to jump into a ball pit. Like you got your shit cut off.
Yeah. So Gunter says that Brandis actually died lonely and unhappy. Here's my thing, right? He's not saying this isn't what he wanted because, oh shit, I got my dick cut off and now I'm going to die. What happened is this wasn't what he wanted because he didn't get the pain that he wanted, right?
The level of the level of pain that he desired. Yeah.
Right. So if that's your whole shit, right? Why stop at the dick? Why not keep cutting shit off until you get your pain? He gets his dinner. Everybody's happy. I mean, he just dropped him in the bed and did they
bye?
Did they
bye,
chicken
motherfucker?
out?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you bleed out now. Why did they have to start? Yeah, why did they have to start with the dick?
I probably wouldn't start it with the dick, especially if Byrne really wanted to taste his own flesh. I probably wouldn't start with the dick. I would have started with something with a little less blood. I'd also would have had a first aid kit around, keep him in the game a little longer.
Common sense. This is 2001 at the time.
They knew.
I'd have cut a leg off. There's some good eating in some calf meat.
Hey, man.
Like you're not making a dick sandwich. Like just cut that calf meat off. You got yourself a little steak. That feeds a family of 4.
I do wish that they had put the dick on a hot dog roll though.
That's what I'm saying. A little Martin's potato roll. Has
Frankie
some
loves
potato chips on the side.
Around 2 a.m., Meiwes heard Byrne Brandis collapse upstairs. He rushed up to him, saw him try to stand once again, and then collapse again. Brandis never regained consciousness. Meiwes hesitated. He was hoping that Brandis would regain consciousness, and then he began to pray. He wasn't sure what to do. Apparently on the video, you can see him pick up the knife and hold it to Brandis's throat multiple times before he works up the courage to actually go through with it. But he keeps dropping the knife and then stopping and kissing Brandis. Meiwes said that he didn't know whether he should be praying to the devil or to Jesus. He says that he went with Jesus and asked for forgiveness. I think he probably should have went the other way on that one. Yeah, I feel like you're going to get a lot more sympathy from the devil.
Yeah, Dark Lord will spare a few.
I mean, you're going to be...
Especially if you're sacrificing...
You're going to be his right-hand man at this point. It's you, Hitler, and it's the devil, Hitler, and Armin Meiwes, I think, are going to be running the show down there.
Absolutely.
At least assistant manager, right?
Assistant to the regional manager.
Assistant to the regional manager. So, yeah, he says he asked Jesus for forgiveness. And then he did it, dude. He took the knife, and he slices Brandis' throat. Apparently this was really hard for him. I mean, as fucking crazy as he is and like these nutbag fantasies he has, he fetishized about the idea of slaughtering and consuming people, but he didn't like the idea of actually killing them. He never wanted to kill anybody. He just wanted
just wanted to eat, just wanted a little dick snack. That's all that is.
Oh yeah, I mean, he just wanted to cut them up and eat them.
Yeah.
But once Brandis was dead, it was fucking on, dude. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
The deed is done.
Oh, yeah.
Meiwes has been waiting patiently for this, and he had studied online how to butcher human beings. I guess that was on the internet back then still. I feel like the internet in its early days was just the fucking Wild West.
Absolutely.
What the dark web is now, that was just the internet before.
That was, internet between like 93 through 2000. Like, it's just straight up like Thunderdome. There are no fucking rules.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first thing Meiwes did was he removed Brandis's head, and then he hung the body by the ankles on hooks that he had installed in the ceiling. I'm sure you've seen this with like deers that are being slaughtered. You kind of put the hooks between the Achilles. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, common practice. Yeah, I do it all the time. But I know what you're saying. It's typical slaughterhouse tactics. I get it.
Right. That's what they do. I don't know why they do that. I'm not keen on the ways of slaughter, but that's what they do. That's what Meiwes did, and then Meiwes continued to butcher the body until he. Oh, sorry, I missed the part. Yeah, so he continued to butcher the body. What he did was he removed the head, hung it from the hooks, then he removed all the internal organs, cut Brandis's body in half, fucking lengthwise, washed both halves with hot water, and then continues to chop them up until he can fit all the pieces in his freezer under a false floor that he so when you open the freezer, it looks like the bottom, but that's actually another lid that comes up, and then there's some hidden space underneath. On top of the false floor, he stored, pork and beef and fish. So at first glance, if you looked in this freezer, there's no way.
And a dickless body.
There's no way. Well, you can't see the dickless body, Jake. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He's not a fool. When you looked in this freezer, you couldn't tell there was a human in there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, my man's got his act together. He convinced a guy to let him chop him up.
I don't really think he had to do much convincing. I think my man was just like, someone please cut my dick off.
Brandis
have a total liquidation sale. Must go.
I'll tell you where Meiwes really fucked up, though, right?
Okay, yeah.
If they get here, right, this whole situation happens. Everything I told you happens. They play their love games. Brandis stands up. He goes, I can't take it anymore. Chop it off, right? Mm-hmm. If Meiwes had been like, I don't know.
I don't really want to cut your dick
You know what
off.
happened then, right? You know what happened? Brandis would have offered him $10,000. He could have made a cool 10 G's.
Yeah.
And ate this man's dick and chopped him up and had him for later.
You literally had his cake and ate it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had his dick and ate it too.
This is funny. We're not. These are real laughs. So where were we? Okay, so he's in the freezer, and this is where Burn Brandis would remain for weeks. Most of them anyway. A few days after the slaughter, Armin Meiwes decided to celebrate Brand's life by preparing a very special dinner. Jake, he went out and he pulled his mother's finest china out. He picked out an expensive bottle of red wine, fine red wine. Decorated
Cabernet.
the table with flour. I don't know. What do you think? Bottle of red? Bottle of white?
Maybe.
What goes with human flesh?
If I'm having some meat, I definitely feel like a red would pair with it the most. Like maybe
Do
a
you
nice
think-
Malbec or something.
Let me ask you a question. If you were to find, if you were to find the most pretentious sommelier, right? They're all pretentious. The only way you become
absolutely.
a sommelier is to pass the pretentious test. But if you found the most pretentious sommelier, right? Mm-hmm. The know-it-all of all know-it-alls when it comes to wine, and you asked him, what kind of wine should I pair with this dude that I chopped his dick off and now he's in my freezer? Do you think he would have a suggestion for you? Or would he take the blow to his ego and say, I don't know?
I feel like leading in with the fact that you cut the guy's dick off might not be so well.
It might
go
scare
over
him
so
off,
well.
huh?
But you're like, I'm looking to pair a wine with human flesh. And I feel like being the pretentious pricks that they are, they'd probably ask you what ethnic race they are. If you're gonna have a white guy,
listen,
that's more so of a pork dish. So you're gonna
Right.
have to have yourself a nice little Chardonnay.
Yes, unless he was Scottish. If he was Scottish, then you gotta
have something with a nice
hardiness of
hickory
the grasslands.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have a nice floral note in your wine to bring out the essence of the meat. Get the fuck out of here.
So Brandis goes out and Brandis is dead. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, my man's in
Meiwes
the
goes
freezer
out.
now.
He gets flowers. He gets candles. He decorates the table. You may be wondering, Jake, what's on the menu? You're going through all this trouble. What's on the menu? I'm glad you asked, Jake. You didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Brussels sprouts. We're in Germany. You know they're having some Brussels sprouts. A little dish called princess potatoes. Familiar?
Princess, are these like small fingerling style potatoes?
No, these are like it's fucking mashed potatoes that you put in one of those like cake piping things, and then you make a little like shit pile with them, and then bake it again.
Okay,
that's what a princess potato is, and a fine, very fresh, Burn Brandis rump roast that was taken from his lower back.
How long my man been marinating that thing for? What some sort of vinaigrette he's got this thing in?
Maybe a brine, a nice brine with some anise.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't go through the whole recipe with this one like he did with the dick.
Roast.
So Meiwes says that the first bite was something he cannot truly describe. He says that he'd spent 30 years dreaming and longing for this moment, and now he was finally getting the feeling that he was actually achieving this perfect interconnection through flesh. So remember, this fantasy isn't just, I want to eat this guy and see what it tastes like. This is like, if I eat somebody, they can never leave me.
They're part of me.
They're part of me.
Exactly.
So now he's got Frankie, he's got Burn Brandis, he's got a fucking party in there at all times. The taste, Jake, you might ask. What does human flesh taste like? Right?
I couldn't tell you. I the only thing I could probably equate it to, beef jerky. I don't know.
Beef jerky?
I don't know.
talking
I've never
about?
chomped on some
Maybe
dude.
some old fucking guy. Why would it be jerkied?
Because I think of like the salty aspect of it. not like the actual rough texture of the meat.
You think that human flesh is just salty?
I guess.
Well, no, you were kind of on point earlier. This is an exact quote from Armin Meiwes. He says, he said it like kind of like a dick, right? He goes, "Flesh tastes like pork, only stronger. It's more substantial. Although I don't think that other people would notice the difference if they'd eaten it. It tastes really good."
What the fuck?
So that's it, man. It tastes like pork. Which
Mean,
makes sense because
that's like a lot of people how they take the correlation of ordering Chinese food and are always like it could be cat.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if cat tastes like pork. I don't know what the fuck. Is that white meat or red meat?
The third white meat.
The third white. The other
white meat.
It's the other meat. But the whole pig thing makes sense because if you watch Mythbusters, I don't know if you fuck with Mythbusters, but anytime they had to do like, can this pierce a human chest or can this go through human flesh, they would always get a pig from a butcher because they said that pig flesh was the closest of any animal to human flesh.
That makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So where was I? Okay, 4 days after the slaughter, Bern Brandis' boyfriend, he had a fucking boyfriend this whole time, started to fear that something was wrong and reported Brandis missing to the police. His boyfriend testified in court, telling the jury that he had no idea Brandis was into this sort of pain. They had never even talked about it. He said that he did find it odd, though, that shortly before his meetup with Meiwes, Brandis went out on a buying spree. He purchased a new oven, he purchased a television for their apartment, and later the boyfriend found out that Brandis had made up a will leaving it all to him. So he kind of knew this was coming and wanted to hook the boyfriend up with some new shit on his way out.
Oh, okay.
So the police investigated the disappearance, but Brandis was super fucking careful and he had wiped his computer completely clean. The investigators found nothing that linked Meiwes in any way. Over the next few months, Meiwes' urges started to stir up again. He was getting low on Brandis meat, and he started to scour the internet for the next victim.
Okay.
His problem was...
Back to the old fishing hole, then.
He was not shy about sharing his newfound experience in the trade.
Fucking amateur.
Eventually, Meiwes was emailed by a young Austrian student who was curious about his post. They started talking back and forth, and when the student asked him just how many people he had actually slaughtered, Meiwes replied saying, "I have experience. Let's just say you wouldn't be the first." This little fucking narc calls the police, reports Meiwes. 5 months later, investigators were on Meiwes' doorstep with a search warrant. This was not a good thing for Meiwes because he had a chopped up body in his house and a slaughter room. Usually when the police come to your house, the last thing you want to have is a fucking slaughter room.
Yeah.
The police search the house thoroughly. They eventually find the freezer and they find the false floor. They're cops. They're good. One of the police officers, a female officer, asked Meiwes what sort of meat they had just discovered under the false bottom in the freezer. And he replied saying, "Oh, just normal animal meats." The female officer smiled and told Meiwes, "Unfortunately for you, not only am I on the police force, I'm also a housewife. This is not normal animal meat." The police ended up confiscating computers, hard drives, the video camera used to record the murder, multiple cassette tapes. They also took 3 knives, an axe, and a butcher's apron, and some of the normal animal meat to send to forensics.
What? This is such rookie mistakes.
Yeah, I mean you can't tell people.
You can't talk about it.
People up and ate
It's
them.
like Fight Club, man.
It's just like Fight Club. You gotta vet these people before you can throw any information out there.
Absolutely, it's like Sexy Fight Club, but with dick eating.
Right. Yes, right. Sexy dick eating Fight Club. That.
Yeah.
See,
first rule of
maybe.
Sexy Dick Eating Fight Club is you don't talk about Sexy Dick Eating Fight Club.
No, you never talk about sexy, and you also don't share your recipes. Don't tell anybody about the garlic powder.
Yeah, nobody needs to know about that because then the next thing you know, they're going to be on the Cooking Network, and they're going to be stealing your shit, and they're going to be real salty about
They're
it.
going to have fucking Mario Batali out there cooking dicks, and you're going to have Bobby Flay barbecuing the dick, and then you're going to have fucking Rachel Ray trying to do some healthy dick salad.
Next thing you know, they're going to have vegan dick, and then you're going to be real upset because you're like, it's not going to taste the same as real dick, and it's made out of fucking jackfruit and cauliflower.
Dick.
Like, that's not real dick.
All right. So after the raids, Meiwes immediately calls a lawyer, right? This lawyer's name is Harold Ermel. Meiwes
The
starts
worst
off,
names ever in this story.
Yeah.
The worst names ever.
Harold Ermel. Meiwes starts off the call by asking Ermel if he would represent him in a case which concerned him personally. Harold assured Meiwes, saying, "Of course, you don't even have to ask. What does the case consist of?" Extreme violence. That was Meiwes' reply. Ermel stated that his immediate thoughts were extreme violence. I don't think he's a Nazi. So you should come down and we'll discuss things. And Meiwes goes, this is rapid fire, all right?
Yeah.
Meiwes, there's another thing. Ermel, what's that? Meiwes, would you represent me if I had killed someone? Ermel, did you kill someone? Meiwes, yes. Ermel, where do you have him now? In your freezer? Meiwes, yes. I killed the man, I cut his body into pieces, and then I ate some of him. This was the first conversation that Harold Ermel had ever had with Armin Meiwes, so of course he represented him in court. That's a hell of a phone call to get, right?
Could you
even as a lawyer, that's a hell of a phone call to get.
Could you imagine ever just getting a phone call from a friend, and that's the first thing you talk to about? Oh man, I haven't talked to you in like 6 months. What have you been up to? Just been working, hanging out. Ate one of my buddies. What?
What did you do? Now, but let's be serious. We all have some friends who, if we got that phone call, we wouldn't be surprised.
No, not at all.
Jake, you're that for me.
I'm glad that I can be that for you. I'm glad that we're on that level where I can talk to you about my cannibalistic activity.
I don't think you would ever do that. I'm just saying that if you did, I wouldn't be surprised.
You wouldn't be that surprised. Absolutely. No. You'd be like, you know what? I saw this coming.
I saw it a mile away. He's been...
Absolutely.
The way he looks at people, man.
The way he just stares at it from across the room. He just like...
licking his lips.
Licking his lips like they're a plate of ribs.
Meiwes and his defense team actually thought, Jake, that they had a pretty good defense. The court had a serious problem. You know what that serious problem is?
What's that?
In Germany,
their dicks eaten?
In Germany, there are no laws against eating another person. It's...
What?
A-okay. That is not a law in Germany. And also, there's video evidence that clearly shows that Bernd Brandes was more than willing to participate in the events, in the evening's festivities. I mean, he was a go, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, my man was harder than a diamond in an ice storm trying to get his dick eaten.
For a little while. And then
once he realized it wasn't that cool anymore, he was just like, kind of...
Well, no, I mean, he was hard for a little while, and then...
Oh, yeah, well, then a hot knife through dick.
Came to an end.
Yeah.
So initially, in the first trial, Meiwes was only sentenced to manslaughter, literally. I mean, they couldn't have picked a better sentence for him, I don't think.
Yeah.
And he was given 8.5 years in prison, right?
That's it.
That was it. The prosecution was not okay with this. And after an appeal, they were granted a retrial, and things didn't turn out quite as well. For Meiwes, turns out he had a problem as well.
Okay.
Brandes wasn't dead.
Oh my God, he's inside of him!
No, he's fucking dead. I mean, he wasn't dead at the time that Meiwes slit his throat. He's fucking dead now.
Oh my
He
God.
ate part of him. Using the video footage, the experts for the prosecution were able to make clear that Bernd Brandes was not completely dead when Meiwes slit his throat. This made Meiwes guilty of murder, so he was sentenced to life in prison, which is where Germany's favorite cannibal still is to this day.
He's still alive.
He's still alive. I mean, this happened in 2001. He wasn't that old. I think he was like 42, 43.
So he's 42 when it happened, so he's like almost 60 now.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. What are you going to fucking write him a letter?
I mean,
I would write him a letter, actually. He is 56.
I wonder if he I don't know, it's like sizing people up while he's in there. You're like, I could eat that. I could eat that.
I could eat him. If I got him alone in the cafeteria, I don't know if these knives are going to be sharp enough. I had that problem before.
He's probably like, so, any of you guys, like, into getting your dick eaten? That'd be kind of cool, but I'm not going to judge.
I'm going to say that if I was Meiwes, right, I would throw a fit in the court when they overturn the manslaughter charge. I mean, that's what he fucking slaughtered a man. You're not going to give him manslaughter?
Yeah. Like, literally, he fit the actual definition of manslaughter.
Right, he slaughtered a man.
What's he going to do? Flip over the table and be like, I'll eat your fucking dick right now!
Oh, that would be great. That would be great.
See, now, I would have thought...
Can you imagine the guy having to sketch that?
Oh, my God.
I'll eat every one of your dicks!
You just see him flipping over the table, and the next picture is him, like, making some sort of dick motion... going into his mouth, and there's like a bubble above it. It says, I'm gonna eat your fucking dick.
But I'm gonna ruin it first.
But
I'm gonna burn the shit out of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna overcook the shit out of your dick. I don't know how to cook for shit. I'm gonna Chef Boyardee your fucking cock, buddy.
I'm gonna chop it up and put it in some baked beans.
Oh, what a redneck delight.
Yeah, right.
What I don't understand is that
there's only one thing. There's only one thing that you don't understand about this whole.
No, there's a
story,
lot of
Jake.
shit that I don't understand, but like I kind of understand. But like in the trial, why didn't they try him for insanity?
Why would they?
Because he ate another dude's dong.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, who wouldn't, given the chance?
Excuse me, what?
Who wouldn't? I mean, if you were presented with that opportunity
to eat a dick,
who wouldn't do it if it was cooked well?
There ain't no way, man.
I don't know why he wasn't tried for insanity.
I am not trying to have a dude meat sandwich on any given night of the week.
I would imagine he has gone through some sort of psychotherapy, psychoanalysis.
Yeah, because he was in the West German army. Like, why didn't they do some sort of analyzation on him then? Analysis, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, but again, because I have a little more here, which might shed some light on that. All right, so a couple of fun facts. Over the months before getting caught, Armin Meiwes consumed 20 kilos of burned Jurgen Brandis' flesh. 20 kilos, Jake. That is about 45 pounds of his ass.
That's a lot.
Also, out of the 4 hours that were the video that they shot, the entire video, it was 4 hours long. Of the 4 hours, the prosecution was only able to be shown 18 minutes of the footage, just enough to make their case. And even this 18 minutes made most of the people who watched it in the courtroom physically sick. And the court had to provide psychiatric therapy to many of those who were present after the trial.
Understandably so.
This video fucked people up. Like I said, it's probably out there. I think it's on the internet somewhere if you really want to see it. But just remember that I just said most of the people that have seen it have had psychiatric therapy. So, I mean, that's on you if you want to watch the video. Another thing that I found interesting, Jake, is I found an interview from one of Meiwes' former neighbors, right? It was this woman, a younger woman. She looked like she was maybe in her late 30s, early 40s. And she says that Armin Meiwes is one of the sweetest men you would ever want to meet. That he used to babysit her kids. And she claimed that if he weren't in jail right now, she would still feel comfortable leaving her kids with him to this day. And she doesn't think he's a threat to the public.
No thanks.
In fact, Jake, most people who have become close with Meiwes through the trial and since the murder, right? Most of them are of the opinion that Meiwes is a stable man who is no danger to the public. They say that he's able to curb his fetishes, and they make the point that he was able to do it for over 40 years.
Get the fuck out of here.
Meiwes has also said that he knows his fetish is not something that can exist in the physical world. He says that he can still fantasize about eating flesh, but knows that practically it cannot work in our society. So I don't know, man, like, he seemed very well-mannered in all the videos I watched of him.
But they say the same thing about guys like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, that's true. They say he was very charming as well.
Yeah. A lot of people liked him, thought he was a well-rounded guy. Meanwhile, he's got, little sex fuck buddies that he eats.
Yeah.
So, Like,
Yeah, we'll
I
probably
don't-
get to him at some point.
Yeah, I don't really buy this whole, like, he's a pretty, astute, sweet, charming guy. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
The dude was down to eat another dude, and he found him on a gay, quaint little cannibal website on the
Whoa, it
interwebs.
was first of all, Jake, the Cannibal website was not a gay website. All sexual orientations are welcome to cannibalism.
Absolutely.
Cannibalism
I understand
will
that. Yeah,
welcome
absolutely.
anyone with their open, bloody arms.
Absolutely, because they only have one precursor, and that is you have to be okay with eating or be eaten.
Right.
Another person.
Eat or
Eat or be eaten.
I will say this. Meiwes says that he believes there are at least 800 cannibals living just in Germany. So take that for what it's worth. I mean, that's...
Can't trust them.
Yeah, I mean... Who knows? I mean, who knows what's going on in America? Maybe there's some underground shit in America we don't know about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, without a doubt.
The real Fight Club took place in Delaware, Jake. Maybe the dick cooking Fight Club also takes place in America.
Maybe there's some sort of, like, weird Iron Chef thing where they cook dicks. And it's
Can you imagine if that was the secret ingredient on Iron Chef?
I'd throw the fuck up. I'm gonna throw the fuck up right now.
It's rough, dude. I mean, I don't know. I think the most fascinating thing about this whole story is the fact that there are people out there who want their fetish is to be fucking eaten.
Yeah. Like, I get it. You want to do the whole, like, BDSM thing. You're into, like, getting beaten.
You like
but,
nipple
like, if
clamps
you're like,
and stuff.
Yeah, fucking whatever, some sort of, like, weird, sexy shit. That's cool. You want to dress up as an animal and get plowed by a guy dressed up as a sea turtle?
Yeah,
that's fine.
You want to blow a donkey or something like that? Go to
Yeah,
Mexico.
you wanna
It's
do it-
accepted there.
Totally fine there. But, like, you literally are putting your actual life in someone else's hands because they're going to
In someone else's
fucking-
mouth.
Literally.
I don't
You're
know.
putting your life
it's-
in someone's mouth.
Yeah, to me, the craziest thing about this story is that I just told you the life story of this Armin Meiwes guy, and he's not the craziest motherfucker in the story.
No, it's Burn Brandis.
Brandis is a savage, dude.
Absolute
Brandis
savage.
is a savage.
Like, it totally redefines the term "what that mouth do."
That it does. That it does.
And that was a prerequisite to the actual saying itself.
Right. Yes.
I don't get people, man. That's fucking wild.
All right, so that's all I have on this. I do want to say, anybody who's interested in this, if you look on YouTube and just Google Armin Meiwes or Google, like, German Cannibal, there are, like, 4 documentaries on this fucking guy. Like, he was a big deal. Also, if you want to check out the Cannibal Cafe, the site is down, but there's a website. If you just Google Cannibal Cafe, it comes up. I don't have this stuff in front of me. There's a website called, like, the Internet Archive that saves homepages of, like, extinct websites. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
It's kind of cool, man. Like, you could check out, like, old, like, the weird, what old websites look like, old
like very
Angel Fire websites and stuff.
Yeah, like very bare bones, not a whole lot really to them, like old school, like rotten.com and stuff like that.
Yeah, so yeah, there's this website. It's like Internet Archive or something, and it saves these pages. The pages aren't live anymore. You can't post to them, but it has, like, little, almost like snapshots of what that page was in its heyday.
Yeah.
Other than that, Jake, do you have anything to say?
If I'm entertaining a guest, just don't overcook the main course.
Don't, especially if it's the guest stick, because there's
Especially
only
if
one of
it's-
those. There's
yeah,
no second chance.
You only get one shot.
You only get one shot. Aim
Q8
aim
miles
to the
soundtrack.
aim to the heavens with your dick. Whatever you decide to do with your dick, just make it special.
Absolutely.
You can follow my man Jake at Jake Lots on Instagram. I'm at Breedin' on Instagram. If you want to follow the podcast, you can check us out on Twitter and Instagram at The Depthscast. And if you have any suggestions for us, you just want to get in touch with us, you can hit us up at thedepthspodcast@gmail.com.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Do us a favor. Rate and review. Rate and review. That's the number one thing you can do for us. Fuck liking our Instagram. things or whatever, just give us the rate and review. It's easy. If you're on an iPhone, just scroll to the bottom of the page that you're on with our podcast playing, and you can do it right there. Super easy.
5 stars. Or
5 stars.
Somebody's going to get their dick eaten.
Yeah, 5 stars. Or, our boy, this episode is sponsored by Armin Meiwes, and he's hungry.
The original
he's
Hungry Man
hungry.
meal.
The
original Hungry Man meal.
Oh, no. All right, Jake, that's it. This is it. This is over.
All right, brother.
This is over. All right, man.
All right, man.
See ya. Bye-bye.